101. We're about to learn how to drive this bus. So, there's the bus.
And as I approach the bus, this is the beginning of the pre-trip inspection. As I approach the bus, I observe it to see if it is leaning to one side or the other, which would indicate a collapsed suspension component or perhaps a flat tire. I also look underneath the bus. I'm looking for any pools of liquid that may have drained from the engine or the transmission. I'm looking for any obstructions that may have got there somehow. There could be a person sleeping under it, conceivably, but I'm going to check all those things. And when I talk to the inspector, I'm going to tell him that I'm checking all those things as we approach the bus.
Okay.
I'm looking at the overall condition of the bus. I'm looking to see if my headlights are intact. I'm looking to see if my parking lights are intact. I want to check these reflectors. These reflectors are on your Missouri test for sure. I want to see that they're not broken, so I just give it a good overall look to see if everything is intact. Now, while I'm here, I'm going to check these mirrors. Now, when you take the test, you must touch the thing that you're inspecting.
Really?
You got to put your hands on it. So I'm going to say, well, I'm going to check these mirrors, and I want to see that they're securely attached, and I want to see that the glass is not broken, right? And they need to be properly adjusted, of course. So I'm going to do that. Now, while I'm standing here, I'm going to release this hood on this side.
And you actually say, I'm releasing this hood thing, I'm testing this to this. Is this a problem?
No, these little breaks here are not a problem.
Okay.
These are okay. Little cracks in the fiberglass sort of thing. Well, you know, what'll happen is you'll do this. You'll walk up to it the way I said to walk up to it, and the inspector is then going to tell you what to do next.
Okay.
Right, or he'll give you instructions.
He'll say, now I want you to check the mirrors.
No.
Or he'll say, what do you check next?
He'll tell you to inspect under the hood or inspect the front of the truck.
Oh, okay.
Or he'll tell you to go just down the right side of the truck.
Okay.
He's not going to tell you to do anything specifically. Now, he may ask you a question and say, well, you know, to help you. If you didn't hit a point that he wants you to hit, he might ask you a question designed to hit that point, but that's all you're going to get.
Okay, so as you walk up to the truck, you check to see if it's leaning, check to see if there's any obstructions, then you check the lights in the front to make sure that they're not cracked and that they're working, then you check the lights and the reflectors on the side as well as the mirrors.
Right.
And you unlock the hood so you can raise the hood if you need to, when you need to.
Right, when you need to. So, but you're always going to check, it's always going to be the same thing over and over again. I want to see that it's securely mounted, and if it's glass, I want to see that the glass is not damaged, right? Okay.
Okay.
So we're going to proceed now with an under the hood.
Okay, cool. Actually, this is kind of fun. Oh boy.
All right, now I'm going to start on this passenger side, or the right side. Now, the best way to do this is to sort of have some sort of a system. And I tend to work from the top down. And you'll learn the engine components. Right? So I'm going to start with the radiator, which is here. And I want to check my radiator hoses, upper and lower radiator hoses. I want to see that the hoses are securely attached. I want to see that they're not dry rotted. I want to see that they're not leaking. I want to observe the radiator itself and see that I can't see any damage on the radiator, that there's no leaks on the radiator. Okay? Now. Okay,
radiator damage, hose, leaks.
Right, now. Then I'm going to go, since it's next, I'm going to look at my windshield washer fluid reservoir and see if it's filled to the appropriate level and whether or not it's leaking. Okay? Now I'm going to move. These are heater hoses, and I would look at those again to see if they're securely attached, to see if they're dry rotted, and to see if they're leaking. So, general principle. Yeah, these are the heater hoses. General principle: if it's rubber, It should not be dry rotted, it should not be cracked.
Okay.
If it's something that carries liquid, it should not be leaking. Everything has to be securely attached, and when you do the inspection, you put your hand on it and move it when you say securely attached. That's what they want.
Okay.
Okay? Now, this is the alternator here. And I want to see if the alternator is securely attached. So when I touch it, it shouldn't wiggle.
What does an alternator do?
It generates the electricity that makes all the lights work and things like that. And the engine. It's what puts the spark in the spark plug.
Okay.
Okay, so I want to see that the case of the alternator is not damaged. So I'm looking at this to see if there's splits or if it's broken in any way. I want to see if any wires are loose. Everything should be securely attached. Okay, alternator. Now notice you have drive belts. There are 3 drive belts on this thing, I think. Yes, and 2 of them are here. Now you test them for tightness, and you should not have more than 3/4 of an inch deflection at the center of the belt. If you get more than 3/4 of an inch deflection, then it's too loose.
That looks like more than 3/4 of an inch, to be honest.
Well, it may be, but that one I think is all right. That one might be. That one's probably a little bit more. But see, that's what the book says. The book says 3/4 of an inch.
Yeah.
That's what you tell them.
Okay. Yeah.
Right?
Whether it is or not.
The book says.
Yeah, 3/4 of an
General
inch.
principle: if you read your test booklet and it's got a specific number, it's going to be on the test.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So I check my belts.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I'm still working down. This is the coolant level for the engine.
Coolant level. Okay.
And it should be for between the cold and the hot, and you can look inside it. If you can't see it from the outside, then you can just look.
What does that
inside.
mean? The hot level? What you mean when the water's hot, it goes up to that level?
Yeah, when the engine's hot, it goes up to that level. When it's cold, it should be here, so above this. So
Why
right
would it
now,
get? Oh, because molecules expand, so it gets
That's right.
bigger.
That's
Wait, but water doesn't expand.
Yeah, it does.
Well, it turns into steam immediately. It doesn't. That's. So why? I don't understand why the level would go up when it's hot. Well, it doesn't matter.
It does.
Let's just keep. Okay.
Okay. So anyway,
I mean, it matters, but it doesn't matter that I know why.
right. So I'm going to check it. I'm going to check the level, and since it's parked, you see, it's going to be at this level. It should be above that
Right.
mark. Then I want to see that the reservoir itself is securely attached. It's not cracked. It's not leaking. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Now we move. It's still moving down. Now I'm going to look at the frame rail. This is the frame rail, and I'm going to make sure that I don't see any cracks or welds. You can't have a weld in a frame rail. I don't want to see any freshly drilled holes. You know, you'd see that if there were exposed paint. All right, if you saw fresh metal, because the frame should never be drilled except by the factory. So I'm going to look at that. Now I'm going to go to this shock absorber. This is the shock absorber. It needs to be securely attached. It needs not to leak, and I should see the rubber grommets there. Actually, if the rubber grommets were gone, it would wiggle, but securely attached, not obviously damaged to anything.
What's the grommet? What is the grommet?
This is the rubber. This rubber.
Okay.
Bushing. It's really a bushing, not a grommet. It's the rubber bushing that goes between the mounting bolt and the shock absorber itself.
Okay.
See this loop?
Yep.
And there's a bolt in the middle, and this is a big rubber bushing. So
Cool.
if it were gone, it would wiggle. Okay. Basic thing is securely attached. Okay. Not
right.
leaking, not bent or crushed or something like that.
All right.
Okay. Now I'm going to look at this brake line. This is a brake line. Okay, and I want to see it's rubber, so I want to see that it's securely attached. I want to see that it's not leaking. I want to see that it's not cracked or dry rotted.
Okay.
Okay? Then since I'm on the brake line, I'm going to go ahead and do the brake and the wheel.